ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। Namaskar to all of you. Welcome to the study of Science of Worship. In the last class, we had discussed about the step called Vyapakanyasa. Today, we are entering to the next process, the step called Dhyanam, meditation. But before that, we will just revise a little, recapitulate on Vyapakanyasa, going to broach it a little. With the mantra Om Aim Sarva Deva Devi Swarupaya Sri Ramakrishnaya Namaha. Om Aim Sarva Deva Devi Swarupaya Sri Ramakrishnaya Namaha. Om. Perform Vyapakanyasa as indicated 3 or 5 times. Last time I showed you how to perform it. The hands should be moved on different parts of the body with the mantra. So starting with the head like this, touch it slowly, going down, then crisscrossing like this, again touch it. So that with the mantra Om Aim Sarvadeva Devi Swarupaya Sri Ramakrishnaya Namaha. Om Aim Sarvadeva Devi Swarupaya Sri Ramakrishnaya Namaha. Om Aim Sarvadeva Devi Swarupaya Sri Ramakrishnaya Namaha. Om 3 or 4 times. I will explain. I have also explained it earlier. What is the significance of that? So now I will again explain about that. So this mantra Om Aim Sarvadeva Devi Swarupaya Sri Ramakrishnaya Namaha Om will change according to the different deities we worship. Suppose it is Divine Mother Durga, then the mantra will change. If it is Ganesha, it will be changing. Om Gam Ganeshaya Namaha Om. Suppose it is Shiva, it will be changing. So while doing Vyapakanyasa, the mantras will go changing out according to different deities. Now since we are taken up Ramakrishna's worship, so we are just giving the mantra of Ramakrishna. So whichever deity you are worshipping at that time, you can change the mantra accordingly. So whenever that particular deity is worshipped, I am going to give you that mantra. So just like on Krishna Janmashtami and other days, the 7 days when we worship Lord Krishna, we had given that mantra Om Klim Gopi Jana Vallabhaya Swaha. So like that there will be different mantras for different deities. So now this Om Aim Sarvadeva Devi Swarupaya Sri Ramakrishnaya Namaha Om. With this mantra you have to perform Vyapakanyasa as indicated in the process. In the last time I indicated that. Now I am going to explain about this Vyapakanyasa. So you are waving, you are touching your hand softly to different parts of your body. The whole body is consecrated. That's why it's called total consecration. The purpose of waving the hands over the body along with the chanting of the Mula Mantra of the Ishta Devata, the chosen deity or whatever deity you are going to worship. What is the reason? What is the significance? That too 3 times, Ishta Devata 3 times is to reaffirm the total purity and the divinization of our body at 3 levels. What are the 3 levels of divinization or purity? Our body is not just the physical structure. It is not just a physical body or the gross body. It has other 2 levels too. What are they? So the purity and the divinization of the body at three levels of Sthula Sharira, that is the gross body, which we see outside. Then the Sukshma Sharira, the subtle body, and the Karana Sharira. Karana Sharira is the causal body. So we have these three bodies. So within that is the Paramatma Swarupa, Atman, the Lord. So what is there to purify the Lord? So because we have these impurities at these three levels, desire, the body of the desire or vasanas, and the Sukshma Sharira having the five karmendriya, five gyanendriya, the mind and other things, then this physical body with all these, whatever you see, the skin, the muscle, the bone, all that things, the blood. So at all these three levels we have to purify, and we have to, and the divinization at all these levels by this process of Vyapakanyasa, total consecration. So 3 times is the 3 body, level of the body. 5 times means sometimes we tell 5 times 2. 5 times is the 5 sheets. There are 5 sheets, kosha. Annamaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, Manomaya kosha, Anandamaya kosha, like that we have 5 sheets. So at that level. But now it is 3 times it is the 3 levels of our body, the Sukshma Sharira, in between the Sthula Sharira outside, then within is the Karana Sharira, the causal body. So by this the worshipper further becomes mentally ready and completely fit for meditating. The next process is dhyana, that is meditation. So the aspirant or the worshipper is further becomes mentally ready, fit and completely fit for meditating on the Lord in his heart center. And then what is the other thing we had kept, this thing, Vyapakanyasa. So then it is also inviting the Lord into the sacred flower in the Kurma Mudra and placing him to occupy the holy seat at the Pushpakunda, that is the flower pot, during the subsequent process of puja. So that's why we have done the process of Vyapakanyasa. Now I have explained it, what is the significance. Now we will go to the next process, that is Dhyanam. Dhyana is meditation. So now in this process of Dhyanam, what is the thing we have to do? It is now, you can see it is displayed on the screen. Dhyanam, meditation. Take a flower smeared with sandal paste, indicating of joining your mind with devotion. Sandal paste is the signifying devotion, bhakti. Take a flower smeared with sandal paste in Kurma Mudra. So I have shown you what is Kurma Mudra. Again I will show you. Then meditate in the heart on an effulgent and living form of Sri Ramakrishna. Here the deity we worship is Ramakrishna, and the meditation mantra is also of Ramakrishna. But when you do the puja of different deities, gods or goddess, the mantra will change. The dhyana mantra, the mantra of the meditation of that particular god will change. So now since we are doing the Ramakrishna puja, I am going to explain you about the meaning and the process of meditation of Ramakrishna Dhyana mantra. So I have told you, take a flower smeared with sandal paste in Kurma Mudra. I will also tell you what is the significance of Kurma Mudra, why we take the flower in Kurma Mudra and meditate on that. Then meditate in the heart region on an effulgent and living form of Sri Ramakrishna. If it is a puja of Ramakrishna, if it is Shiva, it is the effulgent and living form of Shiva. If it is Mother Durga worship, then it is the effulgent and living form of Mother Durga. Ganesha means it's Ganesha, like that. Each deity, it will go on changing. So whatever is your deity of worship, the Ishtadevata or whomever you want to worship, you can meditate on that particular deity. So now I am going to tell you, before the mantra, the dhyana mantra, I am going to take you through why do we use Kurma Mudra, what is the speciality or the science or the significance behind using this Kurma Mudra during the process of meditation. So now we have to take a flower besmeared with sandal paste in the Kurma Mudra. I will show you the Kurma Mudra now, how to put that Kurma Mudra. A flower will be placed in between these two fingers like this here. Then the flower will be facing inwards here. And then the hand, this hand, the left hand will be placed like this. The right hand like this. Then the fingers here, the 4 fingers are covering it like this. The 3 fingers here are covering. Then the 4 finger of the left hand and the thumb of the left hand are touched with the small finger and the 4 finger of the right hand, and this thumb also will be like this. So you can see it is like a tortoise kurma. So the shape is like a tortoise. So I will explain why this tortoise mudra is put. So now this is the, and you have to place that at the heart region like this. So this is dhyana mudra. While meditating we have to do this in dhyana mudra. So I have shown you how to do the Kurma Mudra. Kurma means tortoise. So now I will explain the significance of Kurma Mudra. So the Kurma Mudra is the symbol of tortoise. You know, you have studied in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna in the 2nd chapter is explaining about, in the 58th shloka verse, 58th verse in the 2nd chapter, Gnana Yoga, there is one verse in that particular group of verses are called Sita Prajna Lakshana. A person of steady wisdom, a perfect man who has concentrated his mind completely on the Lord and realized the Lord, Sita Prajna. So his features, his characteristics, while describing that, Lord Krishna tells about this Kurma, tortoise. The example is taken. How is it used? The shloka is, the verse is, Yada Samharate Chayam Kurmonganiva Sarvashaha Indriyani Indriyartebhyaha Tasya Prajna Pratishtita. Yada Samharate Chayam Kurmonganiva Sarvashaha Indriyani Indriyartebhyaha Tasya Prajna Pratishtita. This is a Bhagavad Gita verse told by Lord Krishna to Arjuna, and it is in the 2nd chapter, Sankhya Yoga, and it is the 58th verse. Now, whenever we can tuck in our mind, our indriyas, the mind going through the sense organs outside to meet these sense objects, is withdrawn inside. Yada samharate chayam kurma anga kurmonganiva iva sarvashaha. All the indriyas which are going out, the mind which are going out through the indriyas, withdrawing. Indriyani indriyartebhyaha. So from all the sense objects through that, if you pull within, tasya prajna pratishtita, then his mind has become steady. Such a person's mind is called as steady. Whenever there is any problem outside, if there is some attraction, distraction, the mind is pulled by through the sense organs to the sense objects. At that time, a man of steady wisdom, who has lot of concentration, who has become perfect, can simply, at his will, he can withdraw his mind through the senses, the doorway, from any sense objects, any disturbance, anything outside, within himself. Like a tortoise, when in danger, can pull in all the organs, the 4 legs and the 1 head. So it is 4 legs, 4 legs and the 2 hind legs and 1 head. So it pulls within. So the 5 things are indicative of the 5 sense organs. So sucking, withdrawing our mind through these senses within. So whenever there is danger to the tortoise, it withdraws. And whatever you do, so the shell will be protecting it over that. The shell is protecting whatever the dangers may be, it will not affect it. So it goes within and it will meditate on the Lord. Likewise, yada samharate chayam kurmongani vasarvashaha indriyani indriyartebhya tasya prajna pratishtita. The tortoise is the symbol of ability to withdraw the faculties into oneself, which has to be done during meditation. The same process has to be done during meditation. The Kurma Mudra symbolizes this further even in Bhagavata. Further in the Bhagavata narration of the Kurma Avatara, Lord Vishnu taking the form, avatar of Kurma, tortoise, we can see, one gets the impression of the Kurma, the tortoise, as allegoric representation of the ultimate reality. The tortoise there in Bhagavata, the Lord Vishnu, the highest Godhead, takes the avatara in the form of Kurma. So you can take that as allegoric representation of the ultimate reality, which validates itself and all other valid evidence. So the Mandara Parvata, the mountain called Mandara, represents the Pramana, evidence, with which Vichara, the discrimination represented by churning, the thought process churning, represented by the churning of the ocean of experience, becomes possible when the validity of evidence itself is questioned. It is found to sink, as the mountain did while the churning process was done by the gods on one side, making the snake, the divine snake, as the rope, and pulling that mountain, the Mandara Parvata, from one side the Devatas, the gods, and the other side the demons. So the demons represent the bad nature, the character, bad character, demoniacal character in us, and the gods pulling the other end represent the godly, good nature, godly character in us. So they pull us. The good character pulls us towards the good side. The bad demoniacal character pulls us to the wrong side. So what is that snake representing? The power of the mind. Kundalini Shakti, the power of the mind. So this Mandara Parvata can be taken as the, what we call the Sushumna Nadi, Sushumna, the Sushumna canal. So these are all allegoric. So unless it can rest on something which does not need any validation, this principle, which is self-evident and therefore does not require validation, is represented by the huge tortoise. So now the Lord himself took the form of the tortoise, so it doesn't need any validation, which was able to hold up the mountain on its back and itself remain floating in water without needing any other support. The Kurma being thus a symbol, the Kurma, the tortoise, being a symbol of ultimate reality and of deep meditation. The Kurma Mudra is to take the mind to the reality through meditation, and the worshipper should cultivate and hold this frame of mind during the ensuing meditation or dhyana. So that is the significance of we holding the Kurma Mudra and the flower in our hand and meditating at the heart region. So now you have come to know, I gave you one the Bhagavad Gita example of Yada Samharate Chayam Kurmongani Sarvashaha Indriyani Indriyartebhyaha Tasya Prajna Pratishtita. Then another example from Bhagavata, the story of Bhagavata, where the Lord himself, Lord Vishnu, the highest Godhead, took the form of a tortoise and helped the churning of the ocean. So as I told you, the churning is the churning of our mind. The Kshira Sagara is our mind, the consciousness. The godly qualities, divine qualities on one side and the demoniacal qualities on the other side, pulling us towards the good side and the bad side. And so now the Parvata, the mind is sinking, it doesn't have validation. At that time the Lord took the Kurma Avtara and supported the Mandara Parvata so that it doesn't sink. So this Kurma represents the Lord, highest Lord, which doesn't need any validation. So you have to keep your mind. So holding the flower in Kurma Mudra will give you the idea that you have to keep your mind concentrated, pulling in all the Indriyas, the mind through the Indriyas. At one point there is the Lord, and the other, I told through the Bhagavata, the Lord himself, he doesn't need any further support. The Kurma, the tortoise being, does a symbol of ultimate reality and of deep meditation. The Kurma Mudra is to take the mind to that reality through meditation, and the worshipper should cultivate and hold our frame of mind, this frame of mind, during the whole ensuing meditation. That is the idea, that is the significance. So that is Kurma Mudra. So you have studied why whichever God you think is the same thing, it is one Parabrahma Swarupa, the consciousness, Atman or Paramatman. It may be Ramakrishna, it may be Krishna, it may be Rama, it may be Shiva, it may be Durga, it may be Ganesha, it's all the same God, only it takes different form according to your liking and your level of progress in spiritual life, evolution. So there is no difference, only the Dhyana mantra changes. So now we are taking one God, you have to take, there are so many gods, so you take one God. So now we are taking only Ramakrishna to do that. Now we will chant the Ramakrishna Dhyana mantra, the meditation mantra on Sri Ramakrishna, that is also displayed there. Om Hrudaya Kamala Madhye. I will make you chant that, and then I will give you the meaning of that mantra. Now let us go to the chanting of the mantra. Ramakrishna Dhyana mantra. I will help to chant it, then you can also repeat that after me. So you have seen how to make the Kurma Mudra, keeping a flower between these two fingers here, facing upwards, the flower facing upwards, this way, then the left hand like this here, then covering these three fingers, the small finger, the ring finger, the middle finger, then this forefinger you place the little finger of the right hand and the other forefinger of the right hand on the thumb. So now this thumb of the right hand will be placed here. So it is just like tortoise. So keep it at the chest and meditate. So this is the posture of the Kurma Mudra, the mudras. So now we will take you through the chanting of that Ramakrishna Dhyanam. Om Hridaya Kamala Madhye. So Hridaya Kamala Madhye, please repeat it. Om Hridaya Kamala Madhye Rajitam Nirvikalpam. Rajitam Nirvikalpam. So how to pronounce this Hridaya? Some people also write it as HRI, Hridaya. Some people in different part of India, they pronounce it as Hrudaya. It is neither U, it is neither E. Not even Hridaya, not even Hrudaya. It is in between that. That is Hru, that's all. Just like Krishna. It is neither Krishna nor Krishna. It is Krishna. So like that, Hridaya. That is the pronunciation of Hridaya. That's why only we have given HR. Neither HRI or HRU. It is HR. That's our Hridaya. Om Hridaya Kamala Madhye. Om Hridaya Kamala Madhye that E is elongated, madhye. Rajitam, Ra is elongated, Rajitam. Nirvikalpam, Nirvikalpam. Sadasadakhila, Sadasadakhila. How is it to be broken? There are many words here. Sat, Asat, Akhila. Sat, Asat, Akhila. Sat and Asat when joined becomes Sadasad. Then when you join Akhila together it becomes Sadasadakhila. So Sat, Asat, Akhila has become Sadasadakhila. Then the next letter is Bhedatitam Ekaswarupam. See, Bheda Atitam Ekaswarupam. So many words are there. So all that joined together, Bheda Atitam becomes Bhedatitam. So that Bhe is Mahaprana. You have to use more energy. It is not Be. It is Bhe. Bheda. Bheda Atitam. Bhedatitam. Then Ekaswarupam. Ekaswarupam. Bhedatitam Ekaswarupam. Bhedatitam Ekaswarupam. So now, can you please chant after me? Sadasadakhila. Sadasadakhila. So that Akhila is also Mahaprana. Kha. Akhila. So it is not Akhila. It is Akhila. Sadasadakhila. Sadasadakhila. Bhedatitam Ekaswarupam. Bhedatitam Ekaswarupam. Sadasadakhila Bhedatitam Ekaswarupam. So you have learned this stanza. Om Hridaya Kamala Madhye Rajitam Nirvikalpam Sadasadakhila Bhedatitam Ekaswarupam. That is the way to chant it. So we are going to the next line. Prakriti Vikriti Shunyam. See, there are many words there. Prakriti, Vikriti, Shunyam. Shu is elongated. Dirgha. Hrasva Dirgha. Short and elongated. Hrasva means just 1 unit of time. Ekamatra kalam. Dvimatra kalam Dirghaha. Then it is 3 matra and above it is Pluta. So now it is 2 matra. Shunyam. So that U is elongated. So Prakriti, Vikriti, Shunyam. So 3 words, Prakriti, Vikriti, Shunyam. So now we'll chant it together. It becomes Prakriti, Vikriti, Shunyam. Will you please chant that word after me? Prakriti, Vikriti, Shunyam. Prakriti, Vikriti, Shunyam. Okay. Next word is Nityam Ananda Murtim. So how many words are there? Nityam Ananda Murtim. 3 words. Nityam Ananda Murtim. So Ananda is elongated. That is Dirgha. 2 matra kalam. 2 unit of time is taken to pronounce it. Ananda. That's why it's elongated. A. Nityam Ananda. Then Murtim. U is also elongated. Dirgha. So that sign can be seen there on U. That is elongation. 2 units of time. Dvimatra kalam is there. Murtim. Nityam Ananda Murtim. Nityam Ananda Murtim. Can you repeat that? Pronounce that after me. Nityam Ananda Murtim. Nityam Ananda Murtim. Okay. Both the words can be repeated now. Prakriti Vikriti Shunyam Nityam Ananda Murtim. Can you repeat it? Prakriti Vikriti Shunyam Nityam Ananda Murtim. We are going to the next line. Vimala Paramahamsam. How many words are there? Vimala Paramahamsam. So 3 words. How can that be joined? Vimala Parama. Vimala Parama. Then Hamsam. Together it becomes Vimala Parama Hamsam. Can you pronounce it? after me. Vimala Paramahamsam. Vimala Paramahamsam. Then the next word is Rama Krishnam. Rama Krishna. So that na is the murdhanyana. The tongue should touch the palate up above. So it is not the na with the teeth, the tongue and the tongue touching the teeth. Na. It is not na, it is na. So Rama Krishnam. That is the pronunciation. And there Krishna also is not Krishna or Krushna. It is Kr in between. Kru and Kri. It is Kr. Krishnam. Just like A, I, R, R. That R is this one. Rishi. R. That Kr. Rama Krishnam. So to indicate that is the na where you have to touch the tongue to the palate, that underneath the yan we have put the dot indicating it is the pronunciation is na, just like under, Krishna, all those things you can see that it has to be pronounced with the tongue touching the palate. Rama Krishnam. Can you pronounce it? Rama Krishnam. Then the last word is Bhajamaha. Bhajamaha. It's not Bhajamaha. Mahaprana. It use more lung energy. That's why it's called Mahaprana. More energy. So Bhajamaha. It is not Bhajamaha. It is Bhajamaha. Ja is also elongated. Dirgha. Bhajamaha. Thank you. Now we will do it together. Vimala Paramahamsam Rama Krishnam Bhajamaha. So we will, this is the whole stanza. We will chant it line by line. You can also repeat after me. Om Hridaya Kamala Madhye Rajitam Nirvikalpam. Om Hridaya Kamala Madhye Rajitam Nirvikalpam. Next line. Sada Sadakhila Bhedatitam Ekaswarupam. Okay, I'll divide it if it is difficult. Sada Sadakhila Bhedatitam Ekaswarupam. Bhedatitam Ekaswarupam. Next line. Prakriti Vikriti Shunyam. Prakriti Vikriti Shunyam. Nityamanandamurtim. Nityamanandamurtim. Vimala Paramahamsam. Vimala Paramahamsam. Rama Krishnam Bhajamaha. Rama Krishnam Bhajamaha. Okay, you have learnt it to chant together. I will do the whole thing. Om Hridaya Kamala Madhye Rajitam Nirvikalpam Sadasadakhila Bhedatitam Ekaswarupam Prakriti Vikriti Shunyam Nityamanandamurtim Vimala Paramahamsam Ramakrishnam Bhajamaha. That is the way to be chanted together. Now we will go to the next slide, the next stanza or the shloka in that particular dhyana mantra. Now dhyanam, meditation continued. The next slide will be displayed there. So in that you will get the second and the third stanza, and also will be learning to chant the Ramakrishna Gayatri. Now it has been displayed there on the screen. Dhyanam, meditation. The first stanza was in the dhyana mantra. The first stanza was now chanted. Now we are going to the second stanza and the third stanza, and finally it is the Ramakrishna Gayatri also will be chanted. So now the second stanza we shall chant. Nirupamam Ati Sukshmam. How many words are there? Nirupamam. So how to break it? Nirupamam. Nirupamam. Ati Sukshmam. Ati Sukshmam. So now shall we chant that together? Nirupamam Ati Sukshmam. Will you repeat it? Nirupamam Ati Sukshmam. Now we will go to the next word. Nishprapancham. Nish, that is Nir. Prapancham, it becomes Nishprapancham. Niriham. 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 So there are, we have learnt how to pronounce the whole line with 3 words. So together we can chant it now. The whole line. Repeat it after me. Nirupamamati Sukshmam Nishprapancham Niriham. Nirupamamati Sukshmam Nishprapancham niriham. We will go to the next line. Gagana sadrusham. Gagana sadrusham isham. Gagana sadrusham isham. These are the three words. So together it becomes Gagana sadrusham isham. That isham is elongated dirgha. That's why that sign has been indicated on E, the stroke, to represent that it is dirgha, to unit of time, dvimatra kalam. So we shall pronounce that word Gagana sadrusham isham. Please follow it, repeat it. Gagana sadrusham isham. The next word Sarva bhuta adivasam. Sarva bhuta adivasam. No, sorry. Sarva bhuta adivasam. So together it becomes Sarva bhuta adivasam. So the whole pronunciation Gagana sadrusham isham Sarva bhutadhi Vasam, Sarva Bhutadhi Vasam. So there is two Mahapranas, Sarva Bhu, not Bhu, it is not Bhuta, it is Bhuta. Sarva Bhuta Dhi. That Dhi is also Mahaprana, not Di, it is Dhi. Sarva Bhutadhi Vasam. So then, together, Gagana Sadrushamisham Sarva Bhutadhi Vasam. Gagana sadrusham isham sarva bhuta divasam. Next line. Triguna rahita satchit brahmarupam. Triguna rahita satchit brahmarupam. How many words are there? Tri guna rahita sat chit brahma rupam. So you can see so many words are there together. So tri guna rahita Sat Chit Brahma Rupam. So we will chant that together. Triguna Rahita Sat Chit Brahma Rupam. Triguna Rahita Sat Chit Brahma Rupam. Varenyam. Varenyam. So we have learnt that line too. Together we shall chant this. Triguna Rahita Sat Chit Brahma Rupam Varenyam. Please repeat it. Triguna Rahita Satchit Brahma Rupam Varenyam. The next line. Vimala Paramahamsam. Vimala Paramahamsam. Ramakrishnam Bhajamaha. Ramakrishnam Bhajamaha. The whole line. Vimala Paramahamsam Ramakrishnam Bhajamaha. So now, we will again go through that second stanza. Please repeat it after me. Nirupamam atisukshmam nishprapancham niriham. Please repeat it. Nirupamam atisukshmam nishprapancham niriham. Gagana sadrushamisham sarva bhuta adivasam. Gagana sadrushamisham sarva bhuta adivasam. Triguna rahita satchit brahma rupam varenyam. Triguna rahita satchit brahma rupam varenyam. Vimala paramahamsam ramakrishnam bhajamaha. Vimala paramahamsam ramakrishnam bhajamaha. So we have learned to chant the second stanza. I will chant it the whole thing, the second stanza together. Nirupamam atisukshmam nishprapancham niriham. Gagana sadrushamisham sarva bhuta divasam. Triguna rahita satchit brahma rupam varenyam. Vimala paramahamsam ramakrishnam bhajamaha. So we have learned the second stanza. We will go to the third stanza. The first word Vitaritum avatirnam. How many words are there? Vitaritum avatirnam. Vitaritum avatirnam. Together it becomes Vitaritum avatirnam. Will you please repeat it? Vitaritum avatirnam. The T is elongated. Dirgha T. Vitaritum avatirnam. Vitaritum avatirnam. Jnana bhakti. Jnana bhakti. Prashantihi. Prashantihi. So pra sha is elongated. So prashantihi. Tihi, ti is also elongated. Sha and ti are elongated there, so it is dirgha. So together, vitaritum avatirnam jnana bhakti prashantihi. Will you repeat it? Vitaritum avatirnam jnana bhakti prashantihi. That bhakti is mahaprana. Bha, not ba. So we will go to the next line. Pranaya galita chittam. Pranaya galita chittam. 3 words are there. Together it becomes Pranaya galita chittam. So the yan, underneath the yan you can see the dot indicating that it is na, murdanya. The palate should touch above. Pranaya galita chittam. Pranaya galita chittam. Now next word. Jiva dukkha sahishnum. Jiva is the elongated mahaprana. Jiva dukkha. That is, dhu has to be pronounced with that visarga. Dukkha. When there is that visarga, the way to pronounce in Sanskrit, in Panini Sutra it has been given when that dukkha, because du after that there is visarga, then kha, if ka or kha comes after that, that ahkara should come there. So suppose there is visarga and after that if pa comes, then it will be afkara. Likewise, if there is visarga, the Paninian grammar tells that if there is visarga, that is after du, there is that 2 dots, that is visarga. Then if you get ka, it should be pronounced as dukkha. That is the way you have to pronounce. Okay. Now, jiva dukkha. Jiva dukkha sahishnum. Jiva dukkha sahishnum. That is asahishnum. How many words are there? Jiva dukkha asahishnum. There are 3 words. Jiva dukkha asahishnum. Together it becomes Jiva dukkha sahishnum. Jiva dukkha sahishnum. Okay. Now together the whole line we will chant it. Please repeat it after me. Pranaya galita chittam jiva dukkha asahishnum. Pranaya galita chittam jiva dukkha sahishnum. Okay, we have learned that line. We will go to the next line. The first word, dhrita sahaja samadhim. Dhrita, 1 word. Sahaja, another. Samadhim, 3 words together. Dhrita sahaja samadhim. So now here, dhr, that is the rikara is there. So it is not dhri, it is not dhru, it is dhr. Then it is mahaprana, dhr. So you have to give more stress. It is not dhr, it is dhr. Then dhrita sahaja samadhim. Ma is elongated. Mahaprana. Sorry, not mahaprana. I'm sorry, it is dirgha. And dhi is mahaprana, not di. It is dhi. So together we will chant it. Dhrita sahaja samadhim. Please repeat it. Dhrita sahaja samadhim. Then chinmayam. Chinmayam. Next word is komalangam. Ko is elongated, that is dirgha. Then langam. La is also dirgha. 2 unit of time is taken to pronounce it. So together komalangam. Okay, the whole line can be pronounced now. Please chant it after me. Dhrita sahaja samadhim chinmayam komalangam. Dhrita sahaja samadhim chinmayam komalangam. We are now going to the last sentence or last this thing line. Vimala parama hamsam. Vimala parama hamsam. 3 letters together. Vimala parama hamsam. Ramakrishnam. Ramakrishnam. Bhajamaha. Bhajamaha. Together. Vimala parama hamsam. Ramakrishnam. Bhajamaha. Vimala Paramahamsam Ramakrishnam Bhajamaha. So we have learnt the pronunciation of the 3rd stanza too. The whole 3rd stanza we will pronounce it together. Vitaritum avatirnam gnana bhakti prashantihi. प्रणय गलित चित्तं जीव दुःखापसहिष्णुं धृत सहज समाधिं चिन्मयं कोमलांगं विमल परमहंसं रामकृष्णं भजामः. Okay, the last line is the Ramakrishna Gayatri. There are so many Gayatri. Subramanya Gayatri, Ganesha Gayatri, Rudra Gayatri, Durga Gayatri, Om Katyayanaaya Vidmahe Kanyakumari Dhimahi Tanno Durgih Prachodayat. Like that, Ganesha Ekadantaya Vidmahe Vakrutundaya Dhimahi Tanno Dantif Prachodayat. Like that, Ramakrishna's Gayatri is now chanted. Om Ramakrishnaya, Om Ramakrishnaya Vidmahe, Vidmahe Gadadharaya Dhimahi, Gadadharaya Dhimahi Tanno Devah Prachodayat, Tanno Devah Prachodayat. So together Devah Prachodayat, because there is Visarga, Devaha, then Prachodayat Pakara, so it becomes Devah Prachodayat. So together I will teach you. Om Ramakrishnaya Vidmahe Gadadharaya Dhimahi Tanno Devah Prachodayat. Will you please chant it? Om Ramakrishnaya Vidmahe Gadadharaya Dhimahi Tanno Devah Prachodayat. Okay, we have learned Ramakrishna Gayatri also. Now the whole, from the beginning, the Dhyana Mantra, I will chant. You can note it. If possible, you can also join me because you have learnt it. Om Hridaya Kamala Madhye Rajitam Nirvikalpam Sadasad Akhila Bhedatitam Ekaswarupam Prakriti Vikriti Shunyam Nityam Ananda Murtim Vimala Paramahamsam Ramakrishnam Bhajamaha Nirupamam Mati Sukshmam Nishprapancham Niriham Gagana Sadrushamisham Sarvabhutadivasam Triguna Rahita Satchit Brahmarupam Varenyam Vimala Paramahamsam Ramakrishnam Bhajamaha Vitaritum Avatirnam Jnana Bhakti Prashantihi Pranaya Galita Chittam Jiva Dukkha Sahishnum Dhrita Sahaja Samadhim Chinmayam Komalangam Vimala Paramahamsam Ramakrishnam Bhajamaha. Om Ramakrishnaya Vidmahe Gadadharaya Dhimahi Tanno Devah Prachodayat. So now we have finished the whole of the chanting. You have learnt it too. So now we will concentrate on the meaning of this mantra. I will now break up slowly the word to word and I will go on explaining the meaning. At the same time, you will also get the pronunciation to the word to word meaning and the pronunciation together now. So the meaning of the Ramakrishna Dhyanam, the mantra. Hridaya, we shall now go to the first, this thing, Dhyanam slide. The first one, yeah, meditation. Now we have the first thing, we will chant it and also know the meaning. Om Hridaya Kamala Madhye Rajitam. Hridaya means heart. Kamala means the lotus. Madhye means in between, in the middle of the lotus. So Hridaya Kamala Madhye Rajitam means shining, effulgent. So what is the total meaning of Hridaya Kamala Madhye Rajitam? It is the Dhyana mantra of Sri Ramakrishna. So Sri Ramakrishna is shining inside the heart. Nirvikalpam. What is Vikalpa and Nirvikalpa? Unchanging. So shining in the middle or inside the heart lotus. Unchanging, Nirvikalpam. So that is the meaning of Hridaya Kamala Madhye Rajitam Nirvikalpam. Then the next word is Sadasad Akhila Bhedatitam. Sadasad Akhila Bhedatitam. What is the meaning? Sat, Asat. Sat is truth, Asat means untruth. Akhila, all. Bheda, all these divisions. Atitam, beyond that. So what is the total meaning now? Sadasad Akhila Bhedatitam. Beyond all distinctions of real and unreal, good and evil, all the dualities. So Sri Ramakrishna, whom we are meditating, is beyond all distinctions of real and unreal, good and evil, and all other dualities. That is the meaning of Sadasadakhila Bhedatitam. Then the next word is Ekaswarupam, the one essence, the one essence, the one single form, the one essence, Ekaswarupam. Next is Prakriti Vikriti Shunyam. So Prakriti is one word, Vikriti is one word, Shunyam is bereft of that. Bereft of the idea of cause and product or cause and effect relationship, Prakriti and Vikriti. So bereft of the idea of cause and product. So Prakriti is the cause and Vikriti is the product. So Prakriti Vikriti Shunyam. Sri Ramakrishna, whom we are meditating upon, is bereft of the idea of cause and product. Then the next is Nityam. Nityam is eternal. Eternal. Our Atman or Paramatman or Parabrahma Swarupan is eternal. So Ramakrishna is also eternal. Ananda Murtim. Ananda means bliss, joy. Murti means embodiment. So together Ananda Murtim means the embodiment of bliss. Sri Ramakrishna is the embodiment of bliss. Sri Ramakrishna is eternal, Nityam, Ananda Murtim. Now Vimala, Mala means impurity, dirt. Vimala means impurity less, pure. So it can be called also spotless or blemishless. Vimala. Paramahamsam. What is the meaning of Paramahamsam? Parama means supreme. Hamsa means swan. So swan supreme, Paramahamsam. Ramakrishnam, that is the deity you are meditating, Ramakrishnam. Bhajamaha, we adore. Bhajamaha means we adore. So total meaning of Vimala Paramahamsam Ramakrishnam Bhajamaha is the spotless swan, supreme Sri Ramakrishna we adore. Why is the word Hamsa used? We all know that when you give milk mixed with water to swan, it has the capacity to separate the milk and the water and take in only the milk. So the swan is taken as an example because people, good people who are going towards God, they will give up all that is unreal and take only that is real, pertaining to God, to realize your real nature. So they will take only the true things and untrue things will be given up, just like this swan. That's why Hamsa, the swan, is given as an example for people who are going towards spiritual life, giving up the unreal and taking only the real. So now here, supreme swan, who has realized, who has become one with Parabrahman, is called supreme swan. Ramakrishna has got the name Paramahamsa. So the divine, the supreme swan, who doesn't take anything of these untrue things, only truth, only the Lord. So that's why you can see supreme swan, supreme. Vimala Paramahamsam Ramakrishnam Bhajamaha. The spotless, blemishless, pure, without any impurity, swan supreme, Sri Ramakrishna, we adore, we meditate. That is the meaning of the whole of this shloka. What is that? Om Hridaya Kamala Madhye Rajitam Nirvikalpam Sadasadakila Bhedatitam Ekaswarupam Prakriti Vikriti Shunyam Nityam Ananda Murtim Vimala Paramahamsam Ramakrishnam Bhajamaha. Totally, what can we take the meaning as? We meditate or adore or worship Sri Ramakrishna, who is the embodiment of bliss, who is eternal, who is spotless, blemishless, impurityless, the swan supreme, Sri Ramakrishna we meditate upon, we adore, we worship, who is shining inside the heart and the middle of the lotus, heart lotus, who is of the nature of unchanging, nirvikalpam, He who is beyond all distinctions of real and unreal, good and evil and all dualities, the one in essence, the supreme. So, who is bereft of the ideas of cause and product. So, such a Ramakrishna who is spotless, who is impurity-less, blemishless, who is eternal, who is the embodiment of bliss, I meditate. The Swan Supreme Sri Ramakrishna I adore. That is the meaning, totality of that first shloka. So now we are going to the meaning of the next the verse. The Dhyanam meditation continued. Yeah, in that slide you can see the next stanza or the shloka has come. Nirupamam atisukshmam nishprapancham niriham gagana sadrusham isham sarvabhutadivasam Triguna Rahita Satchit Brahmarupam Varenyam Vimala Paramahamsam Ramakrishnam Bhajamaha. Now we will go to the word to word meaning and then I will come to the totality of the meaning. So now Nirupamam Atisukshmam. Nirupamam. Upama means comparison. Now suppose you want to compare between two people or two things. You take something which may be equal or relates equal and tell it is like this. You compare with that. So now upama means that comparison. Simile. In English you can call it as simile. Similar to that. So that is called simile. So upama means simile. So nirupamam. What is the meaning of nir? Upamam. Nir means no. Negative meaning. No. So no comparison. That is the meaning. So nirupamam means beyond comparison. Beyond compare. Incomparable. That is the meaning. Ati sukshmam. Ati means extremely. Sukshmam means subtle. So ati sukshmam means extremely subtle. Then nishprapancham. Nishprapancham. What is nish? Means no. Nir. So here it will become beyond. Prapancham means the variegated universe. So nishprapancham means Sri Ramakrishna is beyond the variegated universe. Sri Ramakrishna is extremely subtle. Sri Ramakrishna is beyond comparison, incomparable. Nirupamam atisukshmam nishprapancham. Then what is the next thing? Nirupamam atisukshmam nishprapancham niriham. What is meant by nir? No. Iham, desire. Iham is desire. Niriham means without desire, bereft of desire. So niriham means without any desire, no selfishness. Gagana sadrusham. Gagana means the sky, the infinite sky. Sadrusham means similar to that, comparable to the infinite space. Sri Ramakrishna can be compared to the infinity. In infinity is just like the infinite space. So comparable to the infinity itself, the space. Gagana sadrusham. Isham. Isham means Supreme Lord. Isha, Ishvara. Isham means Supreme Lord. Sarva Bhutadhivasam. What is Sarva Bhutadhivasam? Sarva means all. Bhuta means living beings. Adhivasam means dwelling, living. So Sarva Bhutadhivasam means dwelling in all the living beings. He is the indweller, Antaryamin. In all the living beings, not only human beings, all the living beings, he is the one who exists. Sri Ramakrishna is the indweller of all the living beings. Triguna Rahita Satchit Brahmarupam. So, three guna, all three guna, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Rahita, without. Sat, Chit. Sat means infinite existence, absolute. Chit means infinite consciousness or knowledge, absolute. So, Satchit Brahmarupam. Brahma means the highest Godhead, the biggest. Bhuma. Brahma is the highest Godhead, who is formless, who is attributeless. So, Triguna Rahita Satchit Brahmarupam. Brahman, absolute existence, absolute consciousness without the three qualities, gunas. So that is the meaning. Triguna Rahita Satchit Brahmarupam. Sri Ramakrishna, he is Brahman, who is absolute, infinite absolute existence and infinite absolute consciousness, who is without the three gunas, who is beyond the three gunas, that is Triguna Rahita Satchit Brahmarupam Varenyam. Now Varenyam, Varenyam is excellent, who is adorable, who can be respected. Varenyam, you can get that word in Gayatri Mantra also. Bhut Bhuvaswah Tat Savitur Varenyam. So that Varenyam is excellent, or who can be adored, who can be respected. Then Vimala Paramahamsam Ramakrishnam Bhajamaha. Vimala, spotless or impurityless. Mala means impurity. B means without. So the spotless, blemishless, Swan Supreme, Paramahamsam Sri Ramakrishna, Ramakrishnam Bhajamaha, we adore, we meditate. So we will take the whole of the meaning. Sri Ramakrishna, who cannot be compared, Nirupamam, who is beyond comparison, incomparable. Sri Ramakrishna, who is incomparable, who is extremely subtle, who is beyond the variegated universe, without any desires, unselfish, who can be compared to the infinite sky or infinity itself, who is the Supreme Lord, and who is the indweller, who is dwelling in all the living beings, who is the Brahman, the Supreme Brahman, who is absolute existence, absolute infinite consciousness, who is beyond or without the three gunas, who can be respected, adorable, who is excellent, Varenyam. Such Swan Supreme Sri Ramakrishna, who is blemishless, spotless, without any impurity, we adore, we meditate, we worship. That is the meaning of this second verse. So now we have completed our time. It is already beyond 7 o'clock. So we will stop it here. The third shloka, the third verse, and the Gayatri, the Ramakrishna Gayatri, we will deal with that in our next study, in our next discussion. So we will end our puja discussion, worship, the science of worship, with the closing prayer. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.